Nia Washington transferred to Riverside High halfway through the academic year, standing out as one of the few black students among a sea of privileged white teens. When she made the bold choice to attend prom with quiet Jamal Thompson, Riverside's only other black student, it gave Tyler Mitchell and his gang the perfect excuse to put these outsiders in their place. They publicly humiliated Nia. But even that wasn't enough. They turned their attention to Jamal next, convinced they were untouchable. What they didn't know was that Nia had been training since she was 12. Beneath her calm exterior lived the discipline and fire of someone who never backed down. The bullies were about to learn a hard truth. Some people don't just get angry, they get even. Before we continue, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe. Tomorrow's story will blow your mind. Just 3 days earlier, Nia had landed her final punch at Rodriguez's boxing gym in Detroit. Her gloves struck the heavy bag in a steady rhythm, one that had become second nature over the years. She was only 12 when she first walked into that gym. Now, at 17, striding through the polished halls of Riverside High, that same quiet confidence echoed in her steps. The school was like something out of a lifestyle magazine: marble floors, trophy cases glowing under fluorescent lights, and students who looked like they came from a fashion shoot. Everything felt immaculate, polished. Nothing like the gritty public school in Detroit she'd left behind when her mom got relocated. The year was already more than halfway done, making Nia feel even more like an outsider. She glanced at her phone to check her locker combo, keenly aware of her place as the only black girl in sight. Eyes followed her like searchlights. Conversations dipped into hushed tones as she passed. She hadn't even reached her locker when the shouting started. "Come on, Thompson, fight back!" The voice came from around the corner. Nia picked up her pace and rounded it to find a crowd forming near the lockers. Phones were already out, aimed at the chaos in the middle. Through the gaps, she spotted a skinny black boy in glasses, pressed up against the lockers by 3 white students. Her stomach turned. Another black student. She wasn't alone after all. But seeing him like this, trapped, outnumbered, made her blood boil. "Maybe if you spent more time in the fields and less with your nose in books, you'd understand your place," one of the boys mocked. He was a stocky redhead, eyes lifeless. The crowd laughed. Phones kept recording. "Please, just leave me alone," the boy said, his voice trembling. "What's that, boy? Speak up." A tall blonde guy in a Letterman jacket grabbed his collar. "Can't hear you when you mumble." As books hit the floor and pages tore under expensive shoes, Nia caught a glimpse of one cover: Advanced Calculus. This kid was brilliant, probably smarter than all 3 of them, and yet here he was, being treated like dirt. "Hey!" Nia pushed into the circle, and phones turned toward her like loaded weapons. "Leave him alone!" The 3 bullies turned, their expressions twisted into something cruel and amused. "Well, look at that," the blonde said, stepping forward. 2-for-1 deal today. I'm Tyler Mitchell, and you just made my day." The redhead clapped mockingly. "Christmas came early, boys. Fresh meat." "Look, Jamal," said the 3rd boy, shorter but muscular. "They sent you a girlfriend. How sweet." "Shut it, Brad," Tyler said without breaking eye contact with Nia. "This one needs a softer touch." Nia stepped in front of Jamal, fists clenched. "I said, back off." "Or what?" Tyler began circling her like a shark. "You gonna file a complaint? This is Riverside High, sweetheart. We don't take complaints from your kind." "My kind." Nia's voice dropped like a blade. "You heard me." For a second, Tyler's friendly facade cracked, revealing the malice underneath. "You people always think you can walk in here and start changing things. This is our school, our turf." Connor, the redhead, nodded. "Been ours for generations." The crowd drew in tighter, sensing a show. Nia felt the weight of their stares, hungry for drama. She didn't flinch. She had been preparing for moments like this, even if she didn't know it. "Your territory?" she said, shifting her stance, weight balanced, alert. "Funny. Thought this was a public school, paid by all our taxes." Brad stepped forward, trying to intimidate her. "Public doesn't mean it belongs to monkeys." The word landed like a slap. Even some white students grimaced. No one stepped in. Nia's senses sharpened, just like they did in the ring. Her focus locked in. "Say that again," she said, voice steady. Tyler suddenly lifted his hands, pretending innocence. "Easy. Brad's got a loud mouth. We were just welcoming you to Riverside." Connor and Brad hesitated but stepped back. "No harm done," Tyler added smoothly. "Let's give our new students some space." As they walked away, Tyler turned back. "See you around, Jamal. Both of you. Gonna be an interesting year." When the crowd scattered, Nia and Jamal stood amid torn pages and scattered books. "You all right?" she asked, helping him gather his things. "Another black student?" he said in disbelief. "I thought I'd be the only one till graduation." "Not anymore," Nia replied. The next morning, Nia spotted Jamal by his locker just before first period, carefully arranging his books like they were fragile treasures. Shadows circled under his eyes, and his movements were slower, more hesitant than the day before. "Rough night?" she asked, leaning against the locker beside his. "Barely slept," he said without looking up. "Kept thinking about what Tyler said, about this being an interesting year." "Don't let him get in your head," Nia replied. "That's what people like him do. They want you afraid before they've even done anything." "Easy for you to say." Jamal's voice cracked slightly. "You haven't been putting up with this for 3 years straight. Every day, I wake up wondering what it'll be this time. Gum in my hair, tripped in the hallway, locked in the janitor's closet. Yesterday was tame compared to some of the stuff they've pulled." Anger welled up inside Nia. "And nobody steps in?" "The teachers act like it's invisible," he muttered. "Principal Harris just shrugs and says, 'Boys will be boys.' My parents keep telling me to focus on grades and ignore everything else." He slammed his locker shut, the metal echoing in the hall. "Sometimes I wonder if it'd just be easier to transfer somewhere else." "Don't even think about it," Nia said firmly. "You have every right to be here." Before Jamal could respond, Connor appeared at the end of the row. His red hair gleamed under the overhead lights. He wasn't alone. Tyler and Brad flanked him, forming a wall that blocked the corridor. "Well, well," Connor said, smiling like a cat spotting prey. "Look who's already getting cozy." Other students instinctively moved around them, eyes averted, well practiced in pretending not to see. "How was your first night in paradise, Nia?" Tyler asked with fake concern. "Hope your accommodations were suitable. I know housing can be a bit of a challenge for people like you." Nia arched a brow. "People like me?" "Transfers," Tyler said smoothly. "New students. It's always tricky adjusting to a place like this. Higher expectations, you know." Brad laughed under his breath. "Bet those Detroit public schools didn't exactly prepare you for Riverside's academic rigor." "I'm managing just fine," Nia replied, her tone cool and sharp. "I'm sure you are," Connor added with a grin. "Maybe you could tutor Jamal in street smarts. Teach him how to blend in a little better." "What's that supposed to mean?" Jamal asked, voice quiet but tense. "Oh, come on," Connor said. "You're so stiff, so proper. Maybe hanging out with Nia will help you loosen up. Get in touch with your roots. Bit of urban flavor." Tyler raised his phone, camera pointed at their faces. "Speaking of culture," he said, "I think this moment deserves to be preserved. Historic, even. The formation of Riverside High's first—" He paused dramatically. "Study group." "Put that away," Nia snapped. "It's a public space," Tyler replied smugly. "I can film whatever I want." His finger hovered over the record button. "Say something for the camera, Jamal. Come on, drop a verse. Maybe rap about your AP classes. I don't rap, Jamal muttered. Sure you do, Tyler grinned. It's in your DNA, right? Brad started beatboxing badly, clearly for the crowd that had begun to gather again. Yo, yo, check it, he chanted mockingly. Stop, Jamal said, his face burning. Stop, Jamal repeated, his face flushed with embarrassment. But Brad kept going, bouncing on his heels like it was a game. More students slowed as they passed, drawn in by the noise, some laughing, some just watching. The hallway started to feel smaller, like the walls were closing in. Yo, yo, check it! Jamal the genius, straight out of honors, Brad kept mocking, spitting out half rhymes while Connor beatboxed behind him. Tyler kept his camera up, a smirk playing on his lips. Come on, Jamal. Give the people what they want. Enough! Nia's voice cut through the noise like a whip. Everything stopped. Brad froze mid-verse. Tyler lowered his phone a fraction. You think this is funny? She said, stepping forward, her voice steady but electric with fury. You surround someone, humiliate them, film them like it's a game. What? For views? For laughs? You're pathetic. Tyler raised an eyebrow but didn't interrupt. Nia went on. See, back where I'm from, people like you wouldn't last 5 minutes. You talk big, act tough, but you're just scared boys playing at power. Because deep down, you know someone like Jamal. He's already better than you, smarter, stronger, and one day, you'll be the one stuck in some dead-end job, wondering why no one respects you. Connor scoffed, but the grin on his face had faded. You done? Tyler asked coolly. Not even close, Nia replied. But unlike you, I have class to get to. She turned to Jamal. Come on, let's go. They walked away, leaving the stunned trio in the hallway. Tyler's phone was still recording, but his finger didn't press the upload button. For once, he wasn't sure if it would get him the reaction he wanted.
As they reached the end of the hall, Jamal whispered, Thanks. No one's ever stood up for me like that.
Nia glanced sideways, giving him a small smile. Well, get used to it. You've got backup now. Dr. Thompson's voice was sharp enough to slice through steel. He was attacked. Just look at his face. Those bruises didn't come from a fall. Principal Harris, seated behind his desk, remained impassive. Hotel security reviewed the surveillance footage. There's no indication of an assault. Nia leaned forward, unwilling to let it drop. What about the hallway where it supposedly happened? Did they check those cameras? Harris didn't bother to meet her eyes. That wing of the hotel doesn't have active camera coverage. It's old construction. It's not uncommon. How convenient, Dr. Thompson said icily. And I assume Tyler Mitchell's alibi is solid? Tyler was visible on the dance floor for most of the night, Harris replied. There are photos, and several students confirmed it. Same goes for his friends. He folded his hands, as if to end the conversation. I understand your concern, Dr. Thompson, but we can't take disciplinary action based on speculation. This isn't speculation, she snapped. This is a repeated pattern of harassment your staff has conveniently ignored for the past 3 years. That's not accurate, Harris said flatly. We take bullying complaints very seriously. Oh, really? Her voice rose, trembling with restrained anger. Then why is my son's locker trashed every week? Why do teachers ignore slurs hurled in the middle of class? Why are the same students never held accountable? A shadow crept into Harris's expression. Perhaps if Jamal were more sociable, he wouldn't face so many obstacles. Sometimes students contribute to their own isolation. The room went silent, heavy with disbelief. Dr. Thompson rose, calm but cold. Excuse me? What exactly did you just imply? I'm simply saying that when students make an effort to integrate, the process goes smoother for everyone. Integration? Her voice was deadly quiet now. It's 2025, not the Jim Crow era, Mr. Harris. He cleared his throat awkwardly. Poor wording. All I meant was, what you meant, she cut in, was that you think my son deserved to be attacked because he refuses to shrink himself. She reached for her purse. I'll be discussing this meeting with the school board. There's no need for threats, Harris began. That wasn't a threat, she said over her shoulder. It was a promise. Later that day, Nia found herself back at Iron Will Boxing Gym, a tucked-away facility she'd discovered not long after moving from Detroit. It wasn't fancy, but it was real. The owner, Coach Martinez, a former heavyweight fighter with hands like stone and eyes that missed nothing, had agreed to train her the first time he saw her hit a bag. She was pounding the heavy bag now, her fists landing with more frustration than form, sweat glistening on her brow. Easy there, Martinez called out, stepping in. That bag didn't insult your mother. Nia let her arms drop, breath ragged. Sorry, Coach. Just rough day. He didn't press, just nodded. You want to talk? And she did. She told him everything, about the bullying, the assault at prom, Principal Harris's cowardly indifference. Martinez listened quietly, his face tightening with each detail, his scarred brow furrowed. These punks think they're untouchable, he muttered when she finished. What's your friend going to do? Jamal, right? Nothing, Nia replied. He thinks fighting back just makes things worse. Sometimes worse is still better than helpless. Martinez looked her in the eye. You get what I'm saying? She met his gaze. Are you suggesting I teach Jamal how to fight? I'm saying give the kid options. Right now, he's got none. But if he knew how to stand his ground... He shrugged. Bullies only respect strength. That's the language they speak. We'd get expelled, Nia said, wiping her face with a towel. If we retaliated. Only if they catch you. And only if anyone bothers to care. His smile was grim. Doesn't sound like anyone's watching out for you two anyway. Except yourselves. That night, Nia called Jamal. Her voice was steady, but what she offered was anything but ordinary. I have an idea. Boxing lessons. Jamal's tone was uncertain. Nia, I can barely manage a sit-up. Coach Martinez says anyone can learn. You don't have to be Ali, just enough to not be an easy target. Even if I learned, Jamal said quietly, what good is it when they corner me 3-on-1 again? Then we make sure it's not 3-on-1 next time. There was a pause. What does that mean? It means we stop following their script. They've been trying to break us. Let's see how they handle a little fear of their own. You're talking about payback. I'm talking about self-defense, survival, justice. Silence hung on the line for a long beat. When Jamal finally spoke again, his voice had changed. It was stronger, resolved. When do we start? Tomorrow, after school. Iron Will. And Nia? Yeah? Guess I'll need gym clothes. She smiled faintly as she ended the call. Something inside her shifted. They'd done everything right, played by the rules, stayed respectful, waited for protection that never came. But perfection hadn't saved them. Maybe strength would. 3 weeks into training, the changes in Jamal weren't dramatic, but they were impossible to ignore. His frame had filled out a bit, his shoulders more squared, his back straighter. The jittery energy that had once clung to him like static was slowly giving way to something calmer, more solid. Guard up, Nia called out as he pounded the heavy bag at Iron Will. Tyler's not going to wait for you to warm up. Jamal responded with a sharp combo, jab, cross, hook. A month ago, he wouldn't have even attempted that. Now, he looked like someone who knew his body was capable of more. Coach Martinez gave a curt nod of approval. You're starting to move like someone who knows how to stand up for himself. I don't feel like a fighter yet, Jamal admitted between gulps of air, pulling off his gloves. Fighting's not about feeling like one, Martinez replied. It's about stepping up when it counts. While Jamal caught his breath, Nia scrolled through her phone, reviewing the files they'd been collecting. Video after video of Tyler's crew bullying others, recordings of slurs whispered in crowded halls, snapshots of vandalized lockers. It was systematic, repetitive, sickening. "Look at this," she said, turning her screen toward him. A clip played. Tyler and Connor had Marcus Williams trapped near the gym wall. It was the same routine: corner, humiliate, intimidate. Students passed by, eyes averted, pretending not to see. "Maybe you should stick to sports you're actually good at," Tyler sneered in the clip. "Like running away." "We should show someone," Jamal said quietly, but there was little hope in his voice. "Harris, maybe?" "Seriously?" Naya asked. "He made it clear how much he cares. And the teachers? They walk right by. The school board? They won't even meet with parents." She flipped to another video. "We're collecting all this proof, but no one in power wants to look."
From across the gym, Martinez had been listening. He approached, arms crossed.
"You two are still waiting to be saved," he said plainly. "Still hoping someone's going to swoop in and do the right thing."
"We're building a case," Naya replied, defensive. "A case for what?" Martinez asked. "A trial that'll never happen? In a system that's shown you who it protects and who it doesn't?"